Justin. Welcome, everyone, to the first annual Playing Favorites annual Halloween Spooktacular Special 2020 in HD.
Yes, it is an HD, and it's more than one annual, I guess.
So far, it's two annual, but we are indeed having a little bit of Halloween fun today. This is our Halloween special for the
That's
year
right.
2020.
I'm dressed for the occasion.
Yes, you are. You're wearing your Star Wars shirt, looking good.
Yep.
So,
And if you're a listener, you should just watch the video.
yep. Nothing else is going on. Justin looks just about as normal as he always does. So today we're going to kind of stick to our usual format of asking, to like a couple honorable mentions and maybe a favorite. But instead of actual things, we're gonna be doing this with some interesting Halloween themed questions for each other. So
Yes.
I'm very I'm very interested in seeing what you have, Justin.
You want to? Okay, I'm interested in what
Something in your eyes
I wish I could see better. Hold on a second. Let me fix my
It's so easy. There you go.
my headset. Yeah, that's what I gotta fix. Okay. But if you didn't know what we usually do on this show, I'm not sure if you ever been here before or maybe it's the first time. This is definitely gonna be a weird one. But usually we're a podcast where we just kind of find a topic, we do a little bit of research, and then we talk about why we like something so much. But today we're going to talk about a lot of things that we like a lot of, but all around Halloween.
Yep. But before we get into that, I'd like to remind people they can check us out on Patreon, where you can find some bonus content. We just did an episode for the month of October on Little Shop of Horrors, the movie starring Rick Moranis and other people. And I don't want to say any other name though. Really, I really like I can't remember the other two principal actors.
Directed by Frank Oz, though. I will bring that up, though. We can talk about that.
Yes, great voice acting in there as well. You'll see.
Yes,
definitely check that out.
It was Paul's first time watching it, which is flabbergasted me, to be honest.
Yep.
And I think he's for the better. But we have to find out what his thoughts are when you go watch the book.
Yes.
Go check it out.
You can find it there, as well as become a patron yourself, like 8-Bit Sean, Mac40K Painting, and Josh Benoit. Mm-hmm. And you can join the I wanted to say legions of honorable mentions,
Legion of Doom.
We appreciate all the support we get from our patrons, and definitely check it out, patreon.com/playingfavorites. So with that all taken care of, our business all taken care of, one last thing we'd like to remind people of, if you haven't already, please check out Llamapocalypse by Dawson Emmerich. It's our first book recommendation on the show, Justin.
Yeah, we're going to keep reminding you about this book. And if anything, I think there is, the cover art alone looks like it's out of a Halloween show. So, at least go check it out for that.
It is worth seeing just for the cover, at least. Definitely look for it. It's available on Amazon, so check it out.
No, it's an awesome concept to a story in a book, and definitely just go check it out, and I think you'll like it.
Absolutely. We think definitely people who like the show would probably like it a lot if you have that kind of humor. Let's get right into it, Justin. You said you have a surprise topic for me.
Yes,
so even though this is a whole episode of
a lot of questions, but I thought I set the tone a little bit, warm us up a little bit for our Halloween special. I don't even know what how it's going to be consistently. If we do all of our questions this year, I don't know what's going to happen next year. But I think before we get into it, though, there is a big question that we have to kind of answer. Is I want you. Because I think a lot of holidays, right? They all have an idea to them, but everyone kind of looks at them differently, what they want out about that holiday. So, to you, Paul, can you define what Halloween is to you?
Oh, what it means to me now, I can tell you.
Sure, or just in general, your overall thoughts of what Halloween should be, maybe what it used to be, what it is now, or whatever. But what is Halloween? Is it important to you? Is it
It is.
Is it cool? Is it fun? What is it to you? What is your impression of it?
I think everybody at a certain point, Halloween drops off for you. Your interest in it and your desire to participate in it drops off. But I think after like a certain age, you kind of like you're like, no, this is a good thing. It's like it's good to uh, do something kind of spooky but kind of safe at the same time that involves like a lot of people. And I know that's difficult in these times, but I think it's very much an important holiday. In that it's not related to anything other than like having fun, you know, like giving kids candy and seeing them get into minor mischief. Like that's I don't know. I think that's like a part of childhood that every kid should have the ability to have fun with, to participate in. So I mean, it was just weird. Did you ever have this experience when you went trick or treating as a kid and you'd run into like another group of kids and you'd merge into like a bigger group?
Yeah.
Or you'd run into another group and you're like, wow, those kids were weird. Well, like they were from like a different town or like just like a little bit of like a different neighborhood. So you kind of just like, huh, like who are they? And it's kind of dark and you're out by yourself or with your friends. Like, I don't know. It's fun. And
It's such a
I
weird
think
holiday to me, and that's why I
it
want to
gets
ask the question.
sterilized a little here and there, but
That's why I wanted to ask the question though, because I just feel like, I mean, obviously, what this holiday is based on, like, it's not what it is, right? It's not like the commercial version
sure,
of it. I
sure.
mean, it's literally just what is a holiday? It's like a pagan holiday, right? Isn't it like just like
Harvest Festival. I think it's called. Is that Sam Hain? Is that the one? I know
I
that's like a metal band too.
yeah, I don't quite know. I can't remember. I should have researched that, I guess, a little bit, but whatever.
I,
But like, I just know
I think
like
you're right.
it's something to do with like demons and like something like scary things, or it's like kind of like the Day of the Dead a little bit, but not quite that. But like it's like this weird sort of thing that's where it kind of like got that scary vibe to it. But I feel like as I've gotten older, it's gotten less scarier because things are just less scarier and they're more silly. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're a kid,
Mhm.
granted, like you kind of see the scary things like going across the street. Like some streets were really scary. I'm just like,
Sure,
it's funny
I
how
remember that.
that kind of like horror violence is okay on Halloween, but then rated R anywhere else. It's
I know.
like
The things that people like put in their yards. It's like I'm I'm positive he can't find a scarier thing on TV on his own right now. Like if he was to try,
yeah.
like some people have like these like half like decomposing corpses coming out of the ground that are animatronic and like crawl towards you as you're like walking by.
There's
Like
some that
it's
were just so scary, like they would just go nuts. I'm like, I don't understand. Like they're just like terrifying these little children, but then like they
yep,
just get over it. It's like making haunted house and like hay rides
yeah,
and like it's like that's what I think of Halloween. It's like like beginning of fall. It's like the beginning of like pumpkins and going like outdoors and fall and like autumn leaves and like it's like that's like kind of the start for that. I almost consider it like more of a pregame to Thanksgiving, at least in my family, because Thanksgiving Halloween was like kind of really big in my family growing up. I think because my cousin, his brother's birthday was on Halloween, and then they lived
all
out. They
right,
lived out kind of not in where we lived in Utica. They lived out in Marcy, so they would always come to our
okay,
town to do trick or treating. So it became like sort of like a big event. Like it's like,
hmm
oh, I get to hang out with my cousins on like a weeknight, and like we get to stay up all night and go get tons of candy, like because we'd go nuts, and then we'd have like a trading session and like all that stuff too.
oh
And it's
man,
like it was always like I always loved Halloween so much, but then as I got older and then like started like moving away from home, it just like I remember like my first Halloween away for like not college, but like because those are fun times too, like Halloween college parties and things like that.
yep,
But like
absolutely.
I remember my first time being in an apartment on my own, and I was all ready for it. It's gonna be Halloween. I've been living there by myself for a month. I got all dressed up. I bought all this candy. I was like, I'm gonna get it. Like, it's gonna be so many trick or treaters. I'm gonna be awesome. I had 5 kids show up. That's it.
You showered gifts on those 5 kids though, weren't you? You were
And
like
I was
dumping
like,
a bag into their
I didn't
into
like
their
go. I didn't.
pillowcase.
Yeah, like I didn't go nuts. But I'm like, and then they didn't even say trick or treat. I was very upset by it. They just
Oh,
give me candy. Like it's like
that's
like
like when someone's that's like saying thank you. You need to say trick or treat. Like trick or treat is part of it. Thank you is part of it.
yeah
I don't know. A little
yeah.
old fashioned, but
But I do find it funny how
Giving you
it's
free
like
stuff. At least say the line.
it's like the
You know.
like horror and like Halloween and like that, like I guess like what they used to consider like a goth kid is now like mainstream, like being into like like scary things and having like horror weddings and like those like that things like that, like
Yeah,
it's
being
more.
a goth kid is not marginalized anymore. It's like a fashion statement, or it's just like a like nerd is like an accepted thing now, whereas before it was like you never want to be considered a nerd.
Mhm.
Like it's just like the same old like ways of making fun of people have just like shifted. It's just like, well, we'll just shift the blame over here. Nah, we'll just shift it over here. It's nerds, it's goths. It's just we'll
Now
just
it's just
move on to
now
somebody
they
else.
just attack the whole generation, right? They don't attack.
Well, that's nothing new. That's nothing
But
new.
anyways, like, but it's gotten better Halloween. Like, I still have fun with it. I think it's better with children and kids, and it does get kind of there's that fun kind of excitement. You kind of like live vicariously through them. Like, I have noticed I just don't want to get costumes anymore because I don't want to like take the time to make them or spend the money on it.
Yeah.
Which is oddly, I like costuming though because I like the thing is I guess as I've grown up is that I can dress up with other things, not just Halloween now. Because you have like things like convention. Well, there used to be conventions and cosplaying and things like that. So I guess like Halloween was always like that time you could do that and not be like looked down upon. But now it doesn't really matter. You could.
Yeah, like cosplay has changed so significantly since we were kids, like where it was just like this crazy fringe thing. These people that would, get dressed up like their favorite characters.
Yeah.
And it's like the Tron guy, right? Like that
Mhm.
was like the norm was somebody dressing like that at a convention, somewhere in, Wisconsin. But now it's like a
Yeah.
like $1 billion industry. In the things that people are making too, you have like engineers making like mech suits,
I
for
know.
cosplay.
I know.
It's like, whereas like if you wanted to wear like a little makeup when you were in middle school, you'd be like holy crap, you would catch it. Even if it was like Halloween, you'd be like, did you see that guy? He was wearing eyeliner. It's like, yeah, he was
Yep.
like Jack Skellington.
Well,
He was trying to paint. He painted his face.
yeah, because I remember like when I would like when I went to Alfred, like that became more of a common thing, especially being in an art school. Like I would
Hmm.
just see like
Oh
people
yeah.
like walking around with tails on, and I'm like, that's so different. Now I'm just like, someone's walking around with a tail. Still weird, but
Yep.
it's still like, all right,
But it's not the weirdest.
you do you. Like,
Yeah, like the whole culture has really like changed on that. Like how how just like cosplay in general being accepted into the mainstream, and people, and there were like a couple of TV shows about it.
yep.
Like the almost like a reality show about who will be the best cosplayer. And it's like once you're doing a reality show, like you've already peaked. You're peaked and you're on your way down. You
Hmm.
know,
No, no. I just thought it'd be a
super
good place
popular
to
though.
start, like by saying like what is Halloween to us? Because like I said, like there's some people there. I know, like I remember like growing up, there was kids that just couldn't celebrate it, right? Like they just like it was against their parents' wishes because of like the. I had a
Lame.
friend that was like that. Like they
Lame.
were,
Yep.
yep,
Sorry.
lame.
Sorry. No,
Like I
it's
mean,
like
that friend
so.
also wouldn't let us play Hero Quest because there was orcs and goblins and demons in it. So,
Oh, but you were fighting him. Like you weren't like allying with them and being like, "Hey, let's do demon stuff together."
but
You're destroying demons.
I was the demon though. I was the person attacking. Like,
I'm sorry, I forgot you, Justin, were the evil factor playing Hero Quest that you have. My bad.
but no, I just I'm excited about this episode, but I just wanted to define it, I guess, to start. Do you have anything to add to that, I guess, before we go into some questions, I guess?
um, I don't think I have anything else to say about Halloween. I mean, it's like fun danger, and
Yep.
everybody should get to have some fun danger. Getting into trouble is fun, you know. especially when you're not supposed to. Like
I didn't
that's
get.
the nature of getting.
I guess I didn't get in a lot of trouble when I did
It's like
Halloween. I noticed.
little trouble though. You know, like
Like
you get
what
caught.
trouble did you get into though? I just went and got candy. See, I was all about the trick. It seemed like you were about the. Well, no, I was about the treat. Seemed like you were
I was
about
all about the tricks. Getting those tricks. The way you said, "I'm all about that trick," like it's very decisive. But
I'm just standing on the
no,
corner with
I
my.
was about the treats. I don't want to. Listen, I'm going to go on record. I was all about the treats, but sometimes there's just like a little bit of mischief along the way. You're not the one that like got like a thing of toilet paper, but you're like passing by and watching kids doing it, and you're like,
You
"Whoa,
just
that's cool."
you appreciated the trick. That's what it was.
Yeah,
You
sure.
respected it. Like you wouldn't do it. But you're like that.
No, I've never thrown an egg at someone's house. I've never done the dog poo on fire trick. I've never thrown toilet paper at someone's trees. But I always thought that they were really cool. And like I would like admire them from afar, but I was too scared to do that myself because what if I got in real trouble, Justin? Like, like little bit of trouble.
You lose all your treats.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, I lost half of my treats one year because my bag burst.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
and all the people that were around me, I was like, they'll help me get them back in my bag, right? I got like 6 of them. The rest of my haul was eaten up very quickly.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk more about tricks and treats.
Yes.
In just a little
bit.
So,
let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get into these very spooky questions. Uh-oh.
Okay, we're good. I see the red dots. I'm off center.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, and we're back. We're back. Back to the show, and yep, here we are. Justin, if that is you, I believe you have a question for me.
Yes, I have a question. Do you hear me okay? First off.
Yes. To answer your question, yes. I hear you just fine.
Okay.
Next question.
This is the way. This is the way.
Oh, okay. This is the way to the next question?
Yep. Okay, so we're obviously doing questions for Halloween themes. Unfortunately, obviously I have a lot of costumes that relate to Star Wars. I can't help it. Sorry.
You'll just have to find out, listeners. You're just going to have to get onto Patreon and check out the video.
So my first question is disappeared on me. So give me a second. Here it is. There it is.
It's a mystery.
I guess we're going to start nice and simple. We're going to start nice and simple. What, Paul, is your favorite Halloween kids movie?
Ooh, good question. Very good question. Halloween kids movie. Do made-for-TV movies count?
Sure, as long as they're for kids.
Okay.
Because over 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, yeah, with commercials, I guess it would be. It's probably like 40
I would
minutes.
loop in specials, I guess, like long episodes.
Thank you. That opens it up for me. So, favorite Halloween-themed kids movie or made-for-TV movie? Definitely it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, because it's a like scathing lesson in life. Like it is still like the ending of it is so like stark because like Linus is waiting and waiting for the Great Pumpkin. He has faith that it's going to happen, and then it doesn't, and it's just like wow, Peanuts, you are teaching that lesson now. Like okay.
I don't think I've ever seen the Peanuts pumpkin special.
You would like it.
I've only seen the Christmas one.
I liked them when I was little, and then I didn't like them for a while, and I was like, are they worth watching anymore? And I'm finding that they still are charming in their own weird way. But I guess for like a Halloween kids movie, I didn't see that new Goosebumps movie.
I didn't see it either.
I really can't think of like another Halloween like kids like theatrical movie. All I can think of is like bad B movies that we've like rented just for the fun of it, like Dollman versus the Demonic Toys.
There's movies that are like scary children movies too, right? Those are kind of associated with it, or they don't have to be scary necessarily. But like my favorite or one of the ones that are up there, and I don't have much to say on it, but I do want to give it credit, is Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh, dude, I've heard that
See,
movie is good.
that's a great movie. It's very highly underrated. It is really just like, oh, I mean, I always loved the Ernest movies personally. I always got
I
into those a lot.
one of the hosts on Laser Time was so into the Ernest movies. They did like a whole Ernest special where he
Hmm.
just talked for like an hour and a half about why the Ernest movies are secretly like genius. They're like great comedy, and they still like
It's
hold
something
up.
about the camera work from what I remember, like because they always would do
Mm,
these extreme close-ups of Ernest and his facial
yep,
expressions. And like I
Jim
remember like the
Varney.
cover art of like that movie too was him just being like, I can't show you the expression because I have
Yeah, like
a thing on, but
like
like
right in his face.
yeah,
Like
and
yeah.
it's his eyes bugged up. But like the trolls were really creepy in that movie because there's these like monster trolls that come out and oh
Mhm.
man, it was such a good movie. For like a children's like kind of Halloween scary kind of vibe.
Now I think I got something for you. I would say like Little Monsters. Then, do you remember that flick?
Oh, Little
It's like
Monsters.
it had like Fred Savage in it.
Yeah, like
It
the
was
monsters are under the bed and stuff, and there's
yes,
a whole other
yes,
world under there or something like that. Yeah, that was
yep,
good. That was a good one.
yep. Um, also, not the Frighteners with Michael J. Fox, but there was like the Scare. Oh, what is it? The Scare Squad. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember it. And if there's somebody I know who's listening to this podcast right now, he's screaming into his in his house because I'm not remembering the name. The like maybe it's the Fright Squad, or Scared
What
Squad.
was it
I don't know.
about?
It was like kids that end up fighting like the MGM monsters. Like they fight like Dracula, the Mummy, and Frankenstein.
Oh, I don't remember what
Oh
that's called, but
God,
like it's not like we don't have this thing called Google where we can look it up, you
I
know.
know. And now I'm gonna just be embarrassed, and that person's gonna be so upset with me.
Do they listen to the show?
I don't know if they do, but if they do, they're going to be very upset.
Well, you should tell them to listen to the show so they can get upset with you.
Okay, I'll
And
tell
while
them.
you're
I
looking
did.
that up, I can't breathe in this thing. I'm gonna just
I can't breathe in this thing.
so. Plus, I
Oh
really want a
man.
beer, and I can't drink in that thing either. But no, I mean, there's always like some Halloween theme movie. Like I know everyone's obsessed with like Hocus Pocus around this time. Uh,
I still haven't seen all of that. I like caught it on TV like a little bit, and I was like, okay, like I kind of got how
I
like
mean,
the
I
humor of it. And I was like, okay,
I liked
whatever.
it at the time, but I could see there's like it doesn't make me like obsessed with it. You know, it's like I don't get the obsession. Now, what would you consider Nightmare Before Christmas? Is that a Halloween movie or is that a Christmas movie? There's always the big debate, right?
That is the big debate. I don't have an answer for it. It's a Christmas movie because it's about a guy trying to, uh, you know, do it himself,
He
but he
learns
just
the
happens to
meaning.
come from Halloween Town.
He learns the meaning of Christmas in the movie. So
Hmm.
I see.
Anytime you say that you learn the meaning of Christmas in a movie, then it's a Christmas movie. God, that's gonna kill me. I can't think of the
You
name of
can't
that.
find it. I think Fright Shroud sounds familiar. That rang a bell when you said that.
Fright Squad, not
But
Fright Night. No,
well, we'll have to keep looking as we can do with the show. So I mean, did you have a question for me,
I
Paul?
do. I do. As I was like coming up with Halloween themed questions for you, I said this earlier when we were off mic. I kind of went a little dark, so I have like a couple scenarios I want you to I like want your opinion about.
Scenarios. Jeez, what is
Yes.
this? Is this like
So
a
the first one is, let's say you were stuck uh, in a horror movie as the main character, though. Okay, so you're the main character in
the
any horror.
protagonist or the
The
main like
protagonist. You're not the monster or the villain. You're the protagonist. You're the person we want to see survive.
okay, because I
Okay.
mean really the main person of the movie is the antagonist usually in those kind of
Eh,
things.
well, in
Anyways,
like the Friday the 13th films, yes, absolutely. Okay, if you were stuck as the main character in any movie, which would you choose? You have to choose one. There's one world reality that you have to be in. You have to pick one.
Am I
Which
answering?
one would you pick?
Am I answering this question because I think I'm going to survive, or just because I would love to be in that world?
Well, let's.
Like
I'm interested in both answers, to tell you the truth. So why don't you start with one
I
and
mean,
tell me the other?
I mean, because the Friday the 13th movies are my favorite. I would love to be in those worlds.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know
Like
why.
to be in that world?
Well, because I think I would survive. I mean, I think that'd be interesting. But oh man, I don't know. Like that's a hard question. Actually, I don't. There's so many. Like, I mean, do you really want to be in a horror movie world? Like, I mean, is that something that you want to be in? I guess. Like, I mean, I'm trying to
I
think
didn't
of.
say this was, but I didn't say this was voluntary. Like I'm
Yeah,
saying,
like
let's say
I
you
would
were
be,
stuck
I would stuck in
as the
in
main character.
the main character. Are we just?
Pick which movie you want to be stuck in.
Was it, I have to pick an actual movie?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It
Pick
can't
which
be just
movie you would
cycle.
be stuck in.
Okay. Well, I've never seen the Friday.
I'll tell you what a couple that I had to cross off the list while you're thinking about that was the one was The Exorcist. I thought that would be an easy one to get out of, but I guess the demon can kind of like go wherever it wants if it still exists.
So it would
You
be
know.
by the main character. Would you be the girl? The girl then? Is she considered
No,
the
I
main
think
character?
you'd be the priest, right? You'd be the
Okay.
priest, the young priest, Father Damien. I think he's more of the main character. Like Regan and her mom are really important to it, but it's more of the priest's movie of like how he like kind of I don't know if he like gets his faith or he I don't know. It's kind of his movie, but because my solution was you could just walk the fuck away, right? You could just walk away. If you were like if you don't want to be a part of it, you're like forget it. Okay,
So
like screw it.
you
This girl
wouldn't
is not.
exercise the girl, but none of
No,
actually he actually the priest does what he's supposed to, doesn't he?
he does. He like manages to get the demon out of her, but like by calling it into him, and then like right before the demon like can take over in his like last moment of control, he throws himself down like out of the
That's right.
house,
That's right.
out the window, down like
It's
this
been
concrete staircase.
been a while since I watched that movie.
Yeah, like nobody remembers really the ending of it. It's not as important as like seeing.
Well, I remember them
possession.
doing the exorcism, like the power price. That part's cool. I feel like I brought up that.
Yeah, I would just peace out. I'd be like, nope, I'm sorry, find somebody else. Like that would be my escape from the villain. But
you know what?
I
have an answer, and I don't know if this
What's
counts. And you can tell me which main character I would have to be, but I'm going to answer this. The Sixth Sense.
Which character you would be then?
I don't know. Like I feel like I wouldn't care. I'd be okay with either one.
So if you were Bruce Willis, it's not like you at the end you basically find out that you're a ghost.
Yeah, but I helped the kid. I helped the kid with a lot of stuff though.
That's true. And then
if I was a kid, I would help the ghost. I just would see a bunch of ghosts all the time, which would be scary. I know that seems like an easy answer, but like that's like the best one I could think of. But if I had to pick like a movie that I as far as like your typical slasher horror movie, make me Sean Robinson and Friday the 13th goes to Jason Goes to Manhattan. Just make me him. I don't know why. Just because I just love that movie.
It is a fun movie. He does walk to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
From Crystal Lake.
Yep.
Which I think I remember we talked about this because Manhattan looked a lot like Canada, where they shot.
It's funny because when I first saw the movie, like my brain tethered that Jason walked across, like he crossed the Atlantic. Like I don't know why, like I wasn't connecting where Crystal Lake was, and I'm just like, wow, he walked across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah. You don't really know. Like, does he go through like a river or an estuary? Like, does he stay in the water? Does he come out of the water and go back in?
Because it's confusing. Because when they come to New York, is it
like a straight line?
But when they come to New York, it seems like they're coming from the ocean. That's why I was really confused. Like it seems like
very true. Does Crystal Lake feed out into the Atlantic? Like we didn't know.
I don't understand like how that worked out. But no, just make me Sean Robertson. that was the main character's name, and I only know that because of connections of my life.
Certain man by that name. Very good. Very good. All
So,
right.
but I do have a little shout out question for you here. 'Cause
Sure.
this is always
This is
a little quick
okay.
little quickie.
A tiny one. A tiny one.
I mean,
Okay.
what's your favorite Halloween treat? You like all these treats. What is your favorite Halloween
Oh,
treat?
I still think getting a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's something special. Somebody doesn't give you like a little like rip off one or like a Malamar. They're fine, okay, but somebody gives you like an actual Reese's Pieces cup or like the double. Like I know the single is the Halloween serving. It's still such a treat. I
I
love
wish
it.
we had
I love
like
it.
the shaped ones back in the day when we were kids. We didn't have like the trees
Oh,
and the pumpkins and those are way better than the regular Reese's because there's less work involved. They don't have the
yeah.
little.
There's no all that extra step of taking off the black paper. But that's how you knew it was a Reese's and not some like weirdo brand.
Sure, sure. No, I guess Reese's are up there. I always like the Twix a lot. Like I'm a big Twix
Oh,
fan because you get
I
two.
became a Twix fan.
You
I
always
became
get two, and
not true, not true.
well, there are the singles. You're right, but generally you do. Sometimes you do. But I was always a big Trix fan. But anything chocolate, which was really good
Yeah.
because me and my cousin, he didn't like chocolate as much, so we'd always trade. Like
Oh,
he'd want the Jolly Ranchers and the Laffy Taffy and the
oh,
Airheads and things like
I
that.
would
Like the
give those away. I would
yeah.
give Laffy Taffy away. I'd be like, take this shit. Like I don't want
I like
chocolate flavored Laffy Taffy.
I like Jolly Ranchers. They were okay, but
Yeah, those are fine.
if
And Airheads are good too.
I'm ever gonna get or more chocolate, it's always a good thing. Smarties were always good. I always like Smarties.
I didn't mind Smarties.
They're okay.
I did mind the what is it? Not Skittles. Like damn it, not Skillets. What the hell were they called? The like little orange and purple balls. They would only be not everlasting gobstoppers, which are not everlasting.
Oh, I know.
Um,
I kind of
do you know
know.
what the hell they're called?
I don't know.
Snippets or something.
No, the skillets seem right. Like that seems right. I know what you're talking about. Skillets seems like the right kind of candy. That seems like or something like
It's not,
that.
yeah, it's not Skittles. Like we know what Skittles
No,
are,
skillets.
but like, yeah, they're like these like tasteless, but like orange and purple colored um, candy. They're just like sugar water, condensed into a solid form. It's just like pure sugar. But damn it,
Now there was one
Skillets
house that would give I can't think of the name of it. There's one house that we would go to. They would give us hot chocolate packets. Like it was like
Word?
yeah, I was like I love that. I was like this is like the coolest thing. I'm like you gave us hot chocolate packets.
You really? That is awesome. That is like it's like Martha. We ran out of candy. What else we got? The total like I don't have anything else in my house. And start giving out.
But for
like,
some reason, I'm just like, well, that's like
cream
really
of tartar. I just want to give you something.
Oh, I thought it was always the funniest thing though, because you just like have like, this huge pillowcase or bucket of candy, and it's like, I got some hot chocolate.
Those are the ones that stand out. Did you ever like a Bit-O honeys?
I don't know what that is.
What about Mary Jane's?
That sounds
Bit-O
familiar.
honey was it? Mary Jane's were like the ones that even when we were little, we were like, these are from like the 40s. They like look they just look terrible. They look like they're 60 years old when you first get them.
Oh, I don't remember those. Maybe I don't know. I can't remember.
Did you like Dots?
Dots. Oh, I don't know. We can go nuts. I can't. Halfway like the crappy candy. I don't remember. It's like I feel like they're not even around anymore. Because I don't really buy candy for my kids. Like I guess we used to consume. Like it's just I feel like it's like sort of like shunned upon nowadays. Like you don't get candy as much as you're supposed to.
Yeah, you don't just have like bags of candy in the house anymore. Yeah. Like that doesn't like people don't do that.
Yeah, and then people
but
don't.
It used to be.
Yeah, and we would definitely would like hide those candy. Like I've thrown candy away from Halloween before. I'll be honest with you. Like
Yep.
sometimes I'll keep the sugary stuff around for a little bit, but I'm just like after a while I'm just like, no one's eating this. I don't want my kids to eat it. It looks like poison. I'm gonna throw it away.
No one wants this neon green rock candy anymore. Rock sugar candy.
Oh, it's just not something. You remember like pixie sticks
All
and
right.
stuff? It's so horrible. But anyways,
Oh yeah,
that's
it's like here, just like pour sugar down your gullet. Like,
but yeah. So I just thought
uh,
I'd do a quick little shout out question.
I could talk about the rest. The rest of this episode could be favorite Halloween candy. Like, let's do this at the second annual Halloween
Next year, every
Spooktacular
year,
special.
we'll bring up this episode is brought to you by Gobstoppers.
Oh man. Anyways, okay. So you had a shout out question. I believe it's your turn to give me a true question after that
A
shout
true
out.
question, yes. So
Yes.
my next question is, what is your favorite weapon in a horror movie? So like as
Oh,
far as like what weapon
favorite weapon.
did the slasher use? Not like oh this person had an axe and he killed a zombie. He's like what weapon was that murder or serial killer using? I
Oh man.
mean they could change it up. I mean they just had a certain weapon that they picked up and they used. But like what is your favorite weapon?
For some reason, Jason got associated with the machete.
Yes.
But I actually preferred when he used like anything. You know, it'd just be
Well
like
yeah. He
the
usually
camera would the
every
camera would just
movie.
like pan around the room and like show
Yeah.
like a potted plant, and then all of a sudden somebody gets killed by a potted plant. Like
Well,
that was just how
he pretty much always used anything in all the movies, but for some reason there was just they
I
started
liked his
marketing.
ingenuity.
He's like MacGyver of serial killing, pretty much. It's like it's
Can
like
I kill somebody with this? He's like going around his house. Kill somebody with this.
there was one that he just like the way he used was just so ridiculous. I really want to figure it out. Like
I
he
think I
would.
know what you're talking about too.
I think it might be in the Manhattan movie as well. It's like he put
It's
something
like
in their
infamous.
eye or something like that. I don't remember. I feel like
He's like a melon baller.
I feel like Jason would just like if he was like in a bar, he would use like the umbrellas you find in drinks to kill somebody. Like that's what he
Oh
would
yeah,
do.
exactly, exactly. He's just got a big notebook at home of like how to use all these things. How to do with a glass statue of a teddy bear. How to kill somebody with that. Um,
I do want to
I
shout out one movie though for I just kind of jumped at me. It's not like my favorite slasher movie, but a little more modern. Is I Know What You Did Last Summer. I like the hook
oh,
they use. Like I
well,
just like
big
how
hook.
it just sort of had like a good like visual to it when it came out. It looked
Mm-hmm.
threatening, you know. Like I mean like it looked because I guess you've seen like a knife like so many times. Like a hook just seems so like more threatening than like just stabbing someone with a knife or a
Yeah,
machete or something like
way
that.
more gruesome. Yep.
More things
Because
just
it's
happen.
not like a weapon meant to just like kill somebody at once. It's like I'm gonna drag you with this fish hook.
Yes, yes.
Crazy. That's good. I'll give that movie that credit a little bit for its organ. It's like a depiction of a villain. But God, that movie's terrible.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
the
like
concept is really
I
bad.
saw
Like,
that in theaters, dude. Like
I,
with a bunch of friends. Like we
and
were like,
then guess
yeah, we're
what?
gonna go see
They
this.
they still know what they did. It's a
I
sequel.
still know. Even now, I still know. Like
But you
all the
have like what you have
sequels for.
Michael with a knife. Freddy is his. Well, I mean his weapon is really the nightmare, but like it's his blades, right?
Yeah,
His,
I was
his
gonna
glove.
mention that one too. I like the idea of that. I especially like the Simpsons Halloween episode where Ned Flanders is trimming his hedges with
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of like another like signature weapon. I feel like that's kind of like a really like a modern thing for like the villain to have this kind of weapon. You know what? I'll say Hannibal Lecter with the scalpel,
Mm.
right? Because he's done like in the Silence of the Lambs and in the what's it, the Red Dragon one, and what was the in the Hannibal, just the movie Hannibal, the sequel with Julianne
I
Moore.
see. I've only seen the original Silence of the Lambs. I didn't see any other
They
ones.
always they always show him as kind of like an artist, like he's got a deft hand with his surgery.
Yeah,
So,
we got it.
yeah, I would
I'm
say that
gonna
because it's like he's incredibly intelligent and incredibly crazy and dangerous.
I'm
So,
gonna shout out the Candyman with the use of bees. Like,
oh, the bees. I was like, he has a hook too, but no, you
yeah,
meant the bees.
yeah. He uses bees.
That is the worst pitch for a horror movie. So get this. He uses bees. Just like, get out.
Do you know
Get
the
out of his
origin?
office.
You know why? Do you know why he uses bees?
It was like because of the honey or something. Like it has
No,
to do with like how he was killed, right?
yeah, he was
Like,
killed by bees. Like they put him in a box and like just killed him with bees. I used to actually remember like liking the Candyman movies, the
yeah.
original ones. Like they put him in a box and pretty much murdered him with bees, and then so he decided to get revenge using bees.
Yep. Like Jim, stop trying to work in the bees in every movie. It's not going to work.
But
All right.
I do
Okay.
like the ones
Look.
where they do random weapons. I mean, it's like that's like Jason's the best. Like he just sort of like, oh, there's a
Like great camera work. Like computer keyboard. Like
Oop.
I'll snap it in half and it'll become sharp. Oh, oh my. There's a dynamic camera
my camera's messing up.
angle.
But it's okay. I'm still on audio. But yeah, so what is your next question there, sir? As I come back into the world.
So I had a quick. There you are. I have a quick, as you did, a shout out question. It doesn't have to be very long, but you know how I like to talk about food. Let's say, Justin, you were on death row. You're going to die tomorrow, or no, you're going to die soon. You're about to get the death penalty. What would be your last meal? What would you choose as your last meal on this earth? You know that you're going to die by the end of the day. You got time for one big dinner.
This isn't even like Halloween one. It's like death episode. It's like oh this works for Halloween. It's about death.
It's just spooky, right? Like I was just thinking, spooky question, morbid question.
What would my last meal? Like, do you
Meal.
is there like limitations for that last meal? I never wondered that. I was like, is there like a limitation?
I don't think you could say like I'd like to go to a Chinese buffet.
Like, can you like you can just like my last meal to be endless? Like, can you just keep like all you can eat buffet? Like all you can eat pasta? Can we go to Olive Garden? Can I just keep eating? Like,
I think they'll give you a lot of food, but they're like,
are there like different like is there appetizers? Is there dessert?
I'm gonna take a guess. I don't think anybody's serving you the meal like as a waiter. I think they're just like, here's your food, burn in hell. Like I think they're just like, there you go.
Does it come with bread? Do I get soup or salad?
If you ask for it, you gotta ask for the bread. Okay, you can ask for bread and butter. I've seen this. There's an article floating around. I'm sure from like Volver or probably BuzzFeed of like death row inmates, like what was their last meal. So like Timothy McVeigh, it was like a gallon of mint chocolate chip ice cream. It's like what would these people like? What would you choose as your last meal? And it's like someone did like a bucket of KFC original recipe fried chicken, 2 quarts like of ice cream, 1 vanilla, 1 chocolate, and then like a pile of onion rings, a pile of French fries, ketchup, bread and butter, 3 milkshakes.
I don't know. I mean, like I guess
maybe I just gave mine. I don't know. Maybe I just rattled off my choice.
Like I mean, my first thing that pops in my mind is chicken riggies.
Ooh, like good ones, like really, really good ones.
Good riggies. Chicken riggies. If you don't know what chicken riggies are, I think not many of our listeners probably would, unless you're from Utica, New York. That's the only people that know this.
It's a local dish, but it's not nasty like Philly cheesesteak or something. Oh, shots fired! Shots fired, Philly.
Hey, I like Philly cheesesteaks.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not going to pretend. I'm above processed cheese products. I'll always get the cheesesteak.
But no, I mean, chicken riggies seems like something. I feel like you would want more than that, but like, I feel like if I wanted, like, I would want something like a comfort food. That makes me kind of comfortable. I mean, the other thing that popped in my head if I wanted to go crazy was like the crowd pleaser friendlies. So like that's 12 scoops of ice
Oh,
cream
I
with 12
remember.
toppings. And I've eaten this, but I've eaten this before, and I got very sick. But you know what? If I don't have to get sick later,
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
I
That's the
mean, I
least of
guess
your
it doesn't really
worries.
matter. I guess I would just eat like maybe just you know what? I figured out my answer. I would like a large pizza, mushroom and pepperoni with 20
Ooh,
rings. That's it.
20
Maybe
wings
20 wings.
and the crowd pleaser.
Extremely hot 20 wings because it doesn't matter
Ooh.
because I'm not going to deal with it later.
Yes, I want it as hot because I don't care about the repercussions. Oh
And
my god.
give me a
Yes.
large beer and that'd be perfect. That's I'm
Yes.
going with
An
a
endless.
large pepperoni mushroom pizza. No, you know what? I switch it to buffalo chicken pizza. That's what I switch it to.
Ooh, chicken and chicken. I think
Yes.
for real, I would like two whole fried chickens, but no like all dark meat, like no breasts. Just give me, just give me wings, thighs, and drumsticks, and yeah, like an endless supply of some kind of like easy drinking beer. And God, I don't know. I want like something for dessert, but I don't know what I would eat.
I wouldn't eat dessert if I had
Oh,
the pizza, for sure.
I would want like two packages of double stuffed Oreos.
Oh.
Or those El Fudge. What are those? EL Fudge. I used to call them
Yeah.
El Fudge, like they were a Spanish cookie. The El Fudge, but
Yeah.
the double stuffed EL Fudge.
Gotcha.
Uh, those cookies as well. Maybe Nutter Butters. Jesus Christ. We're talking about Halloween candy too. Now I'm
Man,
starving.
yeah, this is the wrong episode to bring food into play.
So tell me then. Okay, that was my little shout out question, and you
Okay.
answered it very much. Thank you, thank you. So back to I guess lighter fare for you. Which horror movie scarred you for life, Justin? What horror movie, like no matter what, you will remember that movie as being scary deep down, just
Well,
because
we've already talked about it.
I know this is kind of rehashing our favorite horror movie, but I
Um,
wanted to know if it still stands.
no. It's not my favorite one, but I mean, it's okay. No one, we could refresh it, but it's Exorcist. It's always been
Yeah,
Exorcist. I mean,
scarred you. Okay.
just because of the moment of me watching it. But I do have another one besides
Oh,
Exorcist.
please.
Um, I don't. I feel like we talked about this one too, but I think it was called Nightwalkers or Night
Oh, the Night
Stalkers.
Stalker. The
Night
Night
Stalker.
Stalker.
I just
Yeah.
remember like that was like the first like horror movie as a child. And we might have talked about this one before too, but like I came down the stairs and everyone was watching it. It was because it was on I think
Hmm.
TV and that my uncle and my aunt's house in Pennsylvania, and they had all like the HBOs and the Cinemax and all those like movie stations, right?
Oh, all the extra channels. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had
All the pay
satellite. He
channels.
had the big dish. He had
Ooh.
like the gigantic dish in his yard, like the
Yes.
really
Remember when
big one.
people? I used to think they were like the Death Star lasers. You know, like
I can't believe we've gotten from that to they use that gigantic the size of a house dish to get a few extra stations,
yep, yep.
right? And now
Really,
you
just
can
for more
get
TV.
now you have like a million streaming on just a little wire. It's like it just like
Yep, yep.
baffling. But anyways, they were watching the Night Stalker, and I was so disturbed by like the sex scene that like between the two Night Stalkers because there's like a lady one and a
Hmm.
guy one. And I don't know if you know what they look like or if you've ever seen a picture of the Night Stalker.
No,
It's just like
no.
it looks like it's just a bunch of two people burnt. Like it's just like
Oh
but like they're still
God.
fleshy, but they're like they're not black, but they're like just like they look just like weird. Like and they're just like all of a sudden doing like some like weird like sex scene, and that's when I walked down the stairs is when that happened,
Ugh.
and
God.
it will just always disturb me. I think that's what the name of the movie was, the Night Stalkers, but I can't remember.
Night Stalker. Yeah, just Night Stalker.
Night Stalker.
Um. Oh God. Um. So I'm trying to find it, and it's not good at all. And that actually reminds me of what I was going to bring up because I believe I've told the story about Evil Dead the first time I saw it. You know, like my brother had like left it on and fallen asleep, and I was like woken up by it, and it was like, oh my god, like what is going on? I thought it was like a legit scary movie and not, you know, like a kind of a campy B movie. But the the one that I will say really did like kind of mess me up for a little while was that I think it's one of the Hellraisers, and it was a woman that was just like
Mm.
that didn't have skin. She was like
Yep.
she was like all just like bloody or just like
Yep.
muscle, all like
I
wet
I,
muscle.
I
And
love
then
the
they like take
Hellraiser.
gauze. The
Yeah.
guy like comes and takes gauze and like mummify like you know covers all of her you know non-skin
Yeah.
up. And I guess that's how they turn into Hellraisers or
Yeah.
something. I don't even know, but like I just
Yeah.
saw it and it just like I was like, oh my god, and like I couldn't tear my eyes away. And then like when the scene ended, I was like terrified. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah,
I've
that
seen
that
that.
must have been the
I can't
first. That must
unsee.
have been the first one. I feel like, or the second one, because yeah, I got into the Hellraiser movies a little bit because I had a huge fad where all I wanted to do was watch just every horror movie I could find. Because I just go to like the video rental place and like I'll rent that one, I'll rent that one,
Yep,
try to watch all
yep,
of them, as many as I could. And the
yep. I
Hellraiser movies
remember
are
that.
so that like I kind of like associate that being like hardcore horror. Like
Yeah,
that was like the extreme of horror, like the body horror kind of stuff, you know,
yeah. Very
versus like the
gory stuff.
campy, versus like just the bloody ofness of like like Friday the 13th. Like that was almost like child's play compared to the stuff in Hellraiser, you know. But Hellraiser would use like the chains. That's what they would use all the time. They'd shoot the
Yeah.
chain. They just shoot the chains out. But eventually, they would just use random weapons and things like that. Michael Myers used to use random weapons too. I remember like watching later movies. He would throw. I remember there was
Right.
one where he throws a CD-ROM disc, and it hits him in the forehead and like kills the person. It's like really, like.
It's like you're like, okay, like fine, but really a compact
But
disc.
Hellraiser was definitely I can see that being very disturbing for a child. I remember the
Yeah.
box was scary. Like you go into the video store and you see the cover art, and you just see the guy with a pin. You see Pinhead. You know,
Yep. Yep. And you just see like what hit. Yeah, you wanted to know what was going on in that movie, but like at the same time you're like, kind of
no.
scared to see. Yeah, yuck. But all right, Justin. Well, I appreciate the answer there. Should we take a quick break and we'll come back with our?
I got one more for
What,
you though. Before we take a quick break, I want to just
oh,
bring up one more.
here
Keep
comes
it,
the.
to kind of get it a little bit more lighter. Don't want to scare our audience a little bit too much here. What, Paul, was your favorite pumpkin that you've carved?
Oh, I carved. I know exactly what it is. I carved a strong bad pumpkin
Oh,
when I was in college. When I was a
awesome.
junior in college,
That's great.
I like they gave out like around Halloween. It was the first time they just like for everybody gave you like a thing you can print out a template to do like Marshy, to do Homestar, and to do Strong Bad. And Strong Bad's was the most complicated because of the wrestling mask. And I chose it and I did it. And when it lit, like when it wasn't lit up, you're like, oh, okay, it kind of looks like it. But when it lit up, it really looked like
Oh
him.
yeah,
It
with
was such a
the light
cool
on them.
reveal. I
Yep.
was like, yes. But yes,
Mine,
that was the
I
best pumpkin I've ever carved.
I have two. My first one I loved was I did Goku from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
And
nice.
it looked freaking awesome. I gotta say, like I like loved it, and I like, you don't really expect it to look perfect when you don't have it lit. Like you just gotta kind of really
Yeah, you're
think
kind of
about it.
squinting like, I
The
got
light's
that.
gonna shine there and whatever. But like that one, I was actually really surprised I was able to pull it off. But then the other one I did that was really awesome. It was like I did the Legend of Zelda symbol. Just like
Oh,
with the I don't know, it's like the kind of like the eagle, like the bird symbol kind of thing. Like it's hard to explain it, but I just did like these, like it had like the Triforce on the top, and it just had like just the symbol.
The goddess symbol, yeah,
Yeah,
in the Triforce, yeah.
So I did that. I found like a thing online. I just kind of copied it, and it looked freaking awesome. I love doing carving pumpkins. That's probably my favorite thing
Man.
about Halloween is
Yep.
trying to get some sort of cool thing. I did Pikachu I did Eevee last year for Callista.
Nice.
But yeah, so like I definitely have fun. We have tons of pumpkins this year because we actually grew them in our yard. We got like 3 gigantic ones.
Right on.
And then like we got like 5. We have like 6 pumpkins in our front of our yard. So I'm just excited about carving. That's I love carving pumpkins. So I wanted to
Now,
see what your favorite.
when do you carve? Because we're like we like it like in a couple waves. Like we already got a pumpkin, carved it, and put it out,
Oh,
and
okay.
and now we're like getting ready to do another one.
Yeah, we only do the
Like
one. We haven't really gotten a rhythm on that yet. Because but like we typically try to just do it like a couple weeks for Halloween, just so it doesn't like degrade
yes,
by
as it
Halloween.
decomposes very quickly.
So, but yeah, so we have to figure that out sooner, I guess. I didn't realize how. By the time this episode comes out, I probably would have carved my pumpkin by that point.
Excellent. Good job this year.
But anyways, I'm ready to go into our break now. Just wanted to ask that last question.
Excellent. Let's take a quick break, come back, and we'll give our last questions of this Spooktacular.
And we're back to finish our first annual Halloween special in HD. Right?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I don't know. It keeps changing. Annual Halloween Spooktacular.
So
you said in HD, so it works for me.
Yeah, it's always in HD. The next one, next year will be Electric Boogaloo because that's the sequel, right? Is what you say?
Yes, Spooktacular 2.
But so Paul, you have the final question, the first final question.
Yes,
for our Halloween themed episode, which has gone a very Paul just seems to be making food related themes in all of our episodes lately.
No, I've taken a step away from that. I've taken a step away from the more macabre questions. But I'm going to ask you, Justin, what is the scariest horror game you've ever played?
Oh,
scariest game. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a horror game. I because like first one comes to mind, is not necessarily a horror game, but it is a scary game. But what would you say is just the scariest horror game you've ever played?
Okay. The one. Okay, I'm going to give this answer only because I've finished them. The Dead Space series.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of disturbing scenes in those games. I wouldn't say that they're like throughout the game it's not that scary, like when you're fighting things, but there's a lot of really scary moments, like as far as like cinematics and things like that.
Okay.
But just like walking around those rooms and you're always on edge throughout the entire game because the whole gist of the game is that you kind of hear which direction the monster is because you're not quite sure where the monster's going to hit you from you. So you might hear it from over here or behind you. Like you have to like kind of like be ready for it. It was really, really kind of like nerve wracking going through the game. And then the monsters themselves were kind of creepy and looking and scary. And then the combat was sort of challenging to make it. It wasn't like Resident Evil challenging where tank controls, but you had to like.
No, but it was very.
You had to deal with the limbs and be able to kind of like it's almost like puzzle solving them a little more than Resident Evil's kind of battles where you had to like just make sure you hit them the right way. It's like you had to like get their limbs off the right way.
There was like the actual like also like the feel of the control was really kind of slow and sluggish.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like everything felt like mired down, like you're I don't know, it like gave you a lot to do to just do a simple task. Like you want to lift the gun and shoot, but it feels like you have to do like a couple of ways, like a couple of things to do it, and like the control isn't as quick as you want it to be. So there's all these like little limitations to the actual control of the game.
It works so well for that game. I feel like that game. I wish it would have gotten more, I guess, pomp and circumstance. What's the word I'm trying to say? But like they try to keep making them, but they just like it just seemed to degrade because they're trying to mainstream it. I wish they
Yeah,
just stuck with what the game wanted to be. Like 1 and 2 is actually are really really good games. The
I played
second
a lot
one,
of one.
the
Yeah, I played a
second
lot of the
one,
first one.
like they kind of fixed some of the problems with one. Um, they made it kind of really hard at the end. But there was one scene that really sticks out from that game more than any other ones though. It's like later on you have to like to do whatever you have to do. I really don't remember the story too much, but to get to the next part, you have to like lay in this machine, and when you lay in it, it does this like really close up of your eye, and then like a laser coming at your eye, and like
Oh,
burrowing into your eye. Like it doesn't show it, but just the cinematic of how they handle it, you know what's happening, kind of stuff. Like you're losing your eye in the process, and
oh my
like
god.
it was so like the way the presentation was kind of shown, and like how good the graphics were for the game at the time. It's like it really just kind of like, oh man, that's like really really intense. But the game, I would say that's like I would say my favorite game that scared me the most, I guess. Another game though I want to kind of shout out because this is the first game that kind of popped in my head. I just never finished it. Was was out. I think I'm saying the name of the name right. Was Outlast. I think it's called
Oh, okay.
Outlast.
All
Like,
right.
cause
I remember that.
it was a free. It came out of the PlayStation Plus at one point. They made a sequel. The whole game, you're just a guy with a camcorder, and like all you're doing is you're trying to explore this mansion, but you have no weapon. So the whole gist of the game is you just running away in horror when the monsters come because you have nothing you can do except for you have a cam. You have all you do is you have a camcorder for anything. So you don't have a flashlight either. So like your camcorder is your flashlight because you use the night vision to see
Oh
things.
god.
So like that's the
It's
whole
just a
like.
game of running. Oh.
But like the story was interesting and it got really engaging and like you would hide under beds and like try to avoid the monsters and like the slashers and like you just were constantly just hiding and being scared. And I just never finished it, but I remember like I like thought the game was so unique and different, and I remember like being freaked out a bunch of times. Probably why I didn't finish it, but I kind of got it, around the time where I stopped liking horror stuff as much because I just couldn't find time to play games like that. But
Sure. Sure.
that's the only other game I can think of.
Man. Man. Oh man. No, that sounds like not a fun experience that I would
It's a good game though. I mean,
participate in.
I give it respect. It's like wow, you made a game where there was no weapons and they made it
Yeah.
really 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 scary. Which that's how horror games work. Is you don't give me ammo pretty much, and you can't save yourself, so you're scared.
Man. No. No. Um. I mean, the scariest game that I've ever played is not even like a full game, and I couldn't even finish it. And that is PT.
Oh,
Are
you got
you?
PT? I didn't get PT.
I will never, ever open it again. It's not going to happen.
Your system's
Like,
worth a lot of money.
oh, it's not. Let's just
You
say
can't.
I got a version
Oh,
of PT that you know that
you, you played it
that
somewhere before. Okay, I gotcha.
yeah, exactly. So just oh, like the subtlest changes in the room and in the hallway would just make you want to like oh I don't even know how it ends because I was just too jumpy playing it and I can't do those games. I think at one point I used to be able to do them and now like I'm just
Yeah, we.
I won't. I
I think
played plenty of like horror flash games that were actually kind of spooky, and I'd be like, okay, like I can play like a modern horror game, and it's like,
no, they're
no, I
too
can't.
realistic.
When
Like,
it gets too real, I
oh,
get scared.
like I want to do the Resident Evil 2 remake, but it looks so realistic that I'm almost like a little
Yes,
like hesitant because it looks too realistic. It's like I don't know when I'd play these games. I mean, like I appreciate them, I respect them, they look amazing, but I'm like I don't know when I'd play it. Like I can't. I
that's also true.
but no, these horror has gotten nuts in the video game world.
Hmm.
Because it's just like it's just crazy what they can what they can do with things. I don't know. It's not
Well,
like
Justin.
the old times. It's not like the Dark Ages.
No. Before the Republic. Uh, Justin, why don't you tell me what your last question is here for our
I
Spooktacular
feel like
special?
my question might be too vague now. I wasn't sure. I have a couple I can use. But I'm just gonna do it. Paul, what was your favorite Halloween?
Oh man, favorite Halloween. I've got like a few favorites though. That's tough.
We got only
Like
get
one of my very favorites is like the first time taking our son trick or treating.
mm-hmm.
That was really really fun, and just like seeing it kind of like through his eyes and how excited he was, how exciting the whole thing was, and like we were in a nice neighborhood of people that were just like, oh, it was a great time. But for me, like my own like trick or treating adventure, my favorite one probably like close to maybe like my second or like maybe the second year before I stopped trick or treating, and it was just like it was like I was with a group of like-minded people that knew like it was all about getting as much candy as possible. Like screw, like yeah, it's great people are doing like throwing toilet paper on stuff. I want free candy. So
Mm,
these are the houses we're going to, and this is how we're going to go like efficiently. We're going to work quickly. We're not going to dilly dally. Like these guys like had a system, and I was it
you're
was
efficient.
perfect.
You're efficient.
I came out of that Halloween with such a haul. I mean, it was like Christmas on Halloween. That's how good it was. So that one, the year, I can't even remember the year, but like close to the end, it was like when you're just about like old enough, and like you're getting close to being too old to do this. It was like the last gasp. It was like, all right, I'm going with this dude and this dude, and we like kind of talked to each other beforehand. We're like, when we go this year, we're just going to focus on candy, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
yes, like, all right, let's
Yeah.
do it then.
No, and it's funny because I didn't really thought about that because like I never had an end of Halloween because by the time I got old enough where you would stop trick or treating, I had a younger brother born,
Oh, it's true. That's true.
and
So you just got to like make
I
someone
just
else's Halloween
I just kept going.
better.
I just kept
Yep.
going. It wasn't until I moved out of my parents' house that Halloween started to really disappear. And I already
Mm-hmm.
kind of mentioned that earlier in the show, where it's just like you move out, it's like you're in a different neighborhood, you're in apartment complexes, and it's just like
Yep.
just not it's not the same, as being at a house where you grew up. But
Sure. Sure.
I don't know. I mean, my first favorite Halloween goes. I mean, all my Halloweens were kind of special as far as you know, having my friends come over and family come over and things like that. But I think the one that I really stands out the most was the one where it was just me and my cousin, and we had this awesome costume outfit, and he was dressed up as Piccolo, and I was dressed
Nice.
up as Mr. Satan. And Mr. Satan's
Great
outfit was
choices.
awesome. I had white I had white sweatpants, just a bathrobe on, and it was like my favorite costume. That was another question I had, like
Did you have the?
your favorite costume you ever wore.
Oh,
But
that's a good
like
question.
that one, like I mean, I have a lot of costumes I've worn over the years, but that one really like I appreciated as being my favorite just because how simplistic it was and how much it
Mm-hmm.
worked. And like I just like my cousin, he did really good. He had like the shoulder pads and like he painted himself green. He had the turban for Piccolo, and like it looked awesome. And of course I was walking with him and Mr. Satan with an afro and painted on mustache, a goatee, bathrobe, and like white sweatpants, and then like a fake gold belt ish thing.
Okay, I was gonna say you
And
gotta have the belt. Hope you have the
and
belt.
we're going door to door, our normal route and stuff, and we were all about getting candy. Like we go as far as we could. But
Yep.
the one thing that sticks out to me is that we go to one of the doors and say trick or treat, and somebody knew who we were. Like some random adult
Oh, nice.
was like, "You're Piccolo and Mr. Satan." Like
What?
wait,
The
what?
only other anime fan in the neighborhood.
Yeah, like how did you know who this? How did you know who we were? like we weren't doing this. We weren't doing this to be noticed. Like we didn't do. We just did this for ourselves. It's like how did you
Yep.
how did you know that we were these characters that no one else I know knows about. like
listeners, before the internet, this is how you'd make friends who are other into the same stuff as you. You just meet them randomly on the street. Be like, hey, nice, whatever it is. Yep. I can't. I thought you were gonna say and somebody recognized Piccolo, but if the person recognized both, that's street cred.
That right there.
That's
I mean, they knew because Piccolo a little more noticeable. Mr. Satan, a little different because I think at that point he really hasn't even hit the I can't remember, but I feel like he wasn't even on television yet. We just knew because we researched it. I remember him I thought he was hilarious looking because he is hilarious looking.
He was not on TV yet. No, you made yourselves you guys were reading the manga or something. You guys were ahead of the curve.
I just that one just sticks out to me. I mean, I had a lot of good Halloweens, but one year though, I had a bad Halloween where I actually couldn't go trick or treating, and that was 8th grade because I got chicken pox.
Oh, dude! Yeah, so you got it in 8th grade.
Yeah, I got it in 8th grade. I couldn't go. I remember I had some friends come over and just to say hi, and I'm like, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
Yep, have fun.
I was like, I can't go anywhere. Stay away from me.
Can I tell you? Isn't that the normal thing? You're supposed to have chicken pox when you're little. You got it in 8th grade.
I did. I had it twice.
You know when I got it?
I got it twice.
Oh man, no, I didn't get it twice. You know when I got mine? 9th grade, freshman year of high school.
Oh,
in the first, in September too. The first month.
Talk about horror. It was getting chicken pox when you're in middle school, high school. It's horrific. It's horrible.
It's I'm coming to this brand new school. It's the high school too, and it's a big deal. It's the only high school in our city, and it's and in the 3rd week of school, I get chicken pox, and I'm out. It's so strange.
I remember. You were in my English class that freshman year too. I don't remember that.
But, I sat behind you. Yeah, they were. No. It was not in September. I apologize. It was in November because I think it was over the Thanksgiving holiday. I got extra days off. I didn't have to come in. I got an extended break. Because
I mean, it's not like it's not like we talked much in freshman year. I think you noticed I had a Star Wars shirt one day. You said, "Hey, nice shirt," or something.
Yep. I know. That's how you made friends with people who like the same stuff as you did. You're just hey, I know that. I know what that is. Hey, that line's from Cowboy Bebop.
Yep.
You know.
Well, Paul,
Justin.
Yes.
Well done.
We planned that. That's our first annual Halloween Spooktacular of 2020 in HD. Did I say it right?
Yeah. I'll say yes. Ding! You got it right.
I hope everyone liked it.
Yes, we do. We had a lot of fun doing it, I think. So, until next time, this is Paul.
You're going to tell us what we're going to do next week or next episode?
Oh, we should. I keep forgetting that this isn't just a fun episode.
This is not the end of the season. We have more to do.
So, next week, Justin, we are going to be visiting the films of Quentin Tarantino.
Yes,
we're going to talk about our favorite Tarantino movie.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing this episode for a long time, and for some reason we just push it off. We push it off. Mm-hmm. We're going to do it finally.
Unlike graphic novel, we're going to do it finally. We'll get back to you. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're going to get there someday. Don't worry about that. No, I'm excited because there's a few Quentin Tarantino movies I need to watch before we get to it.
Yep. And I will take any excuse to rewatch Django or Inglourious Basterds again too. So
it's always fun talking about Quentin Tarantino movies. It's always good. It's gonna be a good time. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. All right. Well, until then, this has been Playing Favorites. I'm Paul.
And I'm Justin.
Happy Halloween.